Right. So in the last session, we were continuing to analyze this successive differences, and I had introduced a new notation. First order difference is written as d of s naught is the initial sequence, and d of s naught. So the second order difference, which we will just write it as t square s naught, and d of s naught will write it as d cube of s naught, and so on. Right. Okay. So now, where have we reached in the analysis of this successive differences? And what are the questions that are still open?
I think Samantha was able to see the factorial and n factorial thing there. I was yet to see that, but later on I worked on it and I was able to get it.
All right. Just a minute. Yeah. So you were saying that
the open question was given a sequence of numbers, how do we find the polynomial?
Right. So this was one. Yeah. So one question is, given a sequence, given a finite sequence S naught, to find its polynomial. Very nice. And Akka, what were you saying? So we have to explain how we are getting the factorials, right?
Yeah, we saw that last week.
Oh, we saw why you were getting factorials?
Yeah.
Oh, great. So we also, okay, fine. So we saw how we got factorials. Yeah. So maybe can you give a clue to others, one of you, of how you proceeded? So basically, what was our observation is, if we start with the sequence n power k, and then take of n power k, d squared of n power k, and so on. This is basically 1 power k, 2 power k, and so on. Then what were we observing? That at which stage is it becoming 0?
That is k plus 1 stage, it is coming to 0.
Excellent. So at k plus 1 stage, this is a 0. It's all 0. And d k n power k is, what was our observation here?
It is k factorial.
K factorial, yes. So this is the observation. So the question is, why are we getting k factorial here? How can we explain this? Was a question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what clue would you give for others?
So we found out last week, d of n k is k into n to the power of k minus 1.
Oh, interesting. So Sunil is saying that d of n power k is k into
n to the power of k minus 1.
That's all.
If it is just n to the power of k, it is just n to the power of
Are you sure?
No, wait. Sorry. It is.
Other terms will be there, but this will be the highest order.
Other terms will be there. Yes. Other terms will be there.
Right. Other terms are there, but we are not bothering about them. How convenient, right? How convenient. Okay, fine. So this is d of n power k plus some f of n, some polynomial in n, right? We'll just write as f1 of n. Okay. Right. So this is a clue, right? This is a clue. And how did we get this first term? How did we get this first term?
This is by n plus 1 to the power of k minus n to the power of k
Exactly.
will.
So d of n power k, that is the first order difference of n power k, is basically n plus 1 the whole power k minus n power k. And yes, then.
So I did it by like binomial expansion of this. So the n to the power of k term will cancel and only n to the power of k minus 1 term will remain, which will have a coefficient k.
Oh, nice. Nice. Right. So this term is what you're writing here, and the rest of the term is f1 of n. Right. Okay. So yes. So this is one clue, and this gives some insight into why you are getting k factorial, right? So the next question is, given a finite sequence, how do you come up with a polynomial, right? So yeah. Sunil, have you figured that out? That you're trying to figure out, right?
I tried, Shiv, but no success.
No success. Okay.
No success.
Others?
So for quadratic and cubic, I was able to derive the structure, but I'm unable to extend it to. Yeah, don't know how to extend it.
Okay, interesting. So basically, all of you were able to find the polynomial by using system of linear equations, right? And Jagdish sir had a very clever method. Basically, we are all going towards that. Okay, so okay, you're able to find for cubic polynomial, is it? So how is that? What method did you use?
So I looked at it as progression, right? So AP comes at this level. The previous level is the differences are in AP, and in the highest level, the difference of differences are in AP. So based on that, I derived the formula for the nth term.
Oh, right. So basically, this is also like a system of linear equations only, right? In a disguised form.
Yeah.
Right. So now we are having this beautiful structure here, right? So this difference function, the successive difference function has a nice property. That is, this property is known as the linear property, right? So what did we also observe last time, that if I take n cube plus n square, right? And if I consider the different stages, different orders of difference, okay, we are able to say something, right? So can you tell me at what stage this becomes zero?
Stage it will be zero.
Fourth stage, yeah.
Fourth stage it becomes zero. Okay, it becomes 0 by 4. So how are you able to say this?
It is the highest degree of the polynomial plus 1.
K plus 1, sir. K plus 1 always 0. D to the power of k plus 1 always 0.
Yeah, the degree of the polynomial plus 1.
Plus 1. But okay, so now you are able to observe why it is becoming 0 at why n cube is becoming 0 at the fourth stage. You are able to see it, right? Can you similarly explain why n cube plus n square is becoming 0 at the fourth stage?
Because the contribution of n squared becomes 0 at third stage.
Exactly, right? So basically, for example, to find d cube of n cube plus n square, right? Can I write it as d cube of n cube plus d cube of n square?
Yes. Yes.
We saw it, right? So we saw that basically, in other words, before going to symbols. So we saw that if you take n cube and take its difference here, and so on. And then if I take n squared and take its difference, and so on, then using these two, we can write the table for n cube plus n square, right?
Yes.
Yes, basically n cube, the first column is just the sum of these two. So that is 2, 12, 36 and so on. The second column,
10.
the second column n cube plus n square is actually, if you see, like you last time nicely told. So this is n plus 1 the whole cube minus n cube, and this is n square, n plus 1 the whole square minus n square. This is nothing but sum of these two. So 10, 24. So basically we saw that this is same as d of n cube plus d of n square. So this operator here, the successive difference operator, is linear, we generally say. Okay, similarly, if d is linear, then d square can also be seen to be linear. So basically all of them are linear. And d cube of n square, we know that it is 0. Right? So here we have that d cube of n cube plus n square, that is the third stage. It is same as the third stage of n cube. Right? So did you see the power of notation here?
Yes.
How nicely it is capturing what is going on there. Right? But notation it has served a great purpose in all of mathematical sciences, but it always carries a big danger, because many mathematicians have told this. Basically, for the first generation of mathematicians, at least, this connection between the notation and the actual operational meaning is very evident. Okay, and as the generations pass by, okay, this connection sometimes between the notation and its operational value gets lost. And because of that, many times the development of subject loses its intensity and vigor because of this many times. So it is always important to go back to the roots again and again. But still, the notation is very powerful. Right. Okay, so now we know this, right? So we know n cube plus n square, how its successive difference table would be, right? Okay.
Shiv,
Yes.
Shiv, another open question is, I mean, which you had asked earlier in the probably previous classes, the last but one stage, that number, that constant, is it always even number, or can it be odd also? You had asked this question actually.
Okay, basically this last but one stage, can it be even? Oh, okay. So what do you think?
Can it be odd also?
Yeah, what do you think?
It has to be even only.
Oh, right. Why is that?
It is a factorial, right? So we will be multiplying by 2.
Nice. See, so from this understanding, lots of questions are getting answered, right? Okay. So now say we have a sequence. Okay, we have some sequence like okay, we'll go back to our Jagdish sir sequence. 4, 14. Other
40.
numbers, can someone tell me?
40. Yeah. 40. 88.
88.
164.
Okay, this will do. Okay, so this is some sequence. Okay, now if you take the first order difference, you'll get as 10, 26,
48, 76. Yeah, 48. Yeah.
Second order difference would be 16,
22, 8, 22. 22.
Oh, sorry. Okay, 16, 22, and next is 28, right? So d cube of s naught would be 6. Okay, right. Now from this information, right? What can you suppose if s naught was a polynomial sequence? Suppose if s naught was a polynomial sequence, then what would its degree be?
It is 3.
It should be 3, right? So it is, and what is the coefficient of n cube? This highest degree, what should be the coefficient?
1.
Why is that?
Yeah, 1.
Because it has come as 6. If it has come as a
Excellent.
Multiple of 6. Yeah.
So it has to be 1, right? So we know that if S0 is a polynomial sequence, then the first term should be just n cube plus something, right? N cube plus some f of n is generating this sequence 4, 14, 40, 88. Okay, right. So now what can we do next? Any ideas?
So the 10, 26, 48, that is a second degree polynomial. So we can
Right.
similarly say that that will be 3n squared.
That would be 3n squared.
The equations to the formula to generate.
Oh, right.
Yes, that is 3n square. Yeah. But
Oh, wait.
No, that is 2n squared. I think 2n squared. I think. Not 3. It is 2n squared.
No, not in the f of n. I'm saying in the d1.
Polynomial for d1 of n.
Okay, right. So basically, if you just look at this, sequence, then oh, this is nice. I didn't think through this. Let me see where this will take us. Okay, 10, 26, 48. If you just take this, if you just fix this sequence.
Yeah. So by the same logic.
Then since
yeah,
this should be 3n squared.
Correct.
Right. So this should be 3n squared plus some f1 of n, f2 of n. Okay, very interesting observation. Very nice. So what is the consequence of this? Is this giving us any information about f1 of n?
f1 of n should be 3n square plus f2 of n, right?
f1 of n should be 3n squared plus f2
Not
of n.
necessarily. How?
No, correct.
So now we'll list
d of f1 of n.
Sequence. Right. If you just take the sequence n cube plus n square.
We can
right.
see,
So this is 1
S2
plus
minus S1 or something like that and see.
Yeah, we can take. We'll just take n cube plus n square. So first term is 1 plus 1. Second is 8 plus 4. Next is 27 plus 9 and so on. So this is 2. This is 12. This is 36. Okay. Now the question is, would the next thing be now here? This is playing the role of f1 of n. Okay. Yeah. So it can be checked if this is. No, this is a good way of seeing. But here what is happening is this term would be 10 and 4, 14, 24 and so on. But this is not turning out to be n squared. But actually so what is the relationship between f1 of n and 3n squared plus f2 of n? Akka was saying.
So d of n cube would be 3n squared plus 3n plus 1, right?
Right. D of n cube is 3n squared plus 3n plus 1.
Plus 1. So d of f1 of n is equal to 3n plus 1 plus f2 of n.
Right.
But it doesn't help.
So okay, yeah. So again, I'm going to notation, but always keep the meaning in mind. It is very important. So since this is following this linear property, as we saw, this would be same as d of n cube plus d of f1 of n, which is nothing but 3n squared plus 3n plus 1 plus d of f1 of n. So now, now this is getting more algebraic. Yes. So from this, we can try to find out the relationship between f1 of n and f2 of n. Now the question is, how do you find f1 of n in the first place? Jagdish sir, so now are you able to see why your method is working? Jagdish sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm watching.
No. Are you able to understand why that your method works?
So when it comes to generalization like this, it's a little bit tough for me to understand it.
Right. Okay.
Then because when all you are talking about the nth term, right? So little bit understanding which is
Yeah. So what we have got so far is the given sequence 4, 14, 40, 88 is NQ plus something. This much we have got. Now, if you are trying to use, now we are looking at alternate method to find the polynomial. We already saw that using system of linear equations we can solve this. But using this property of successive differences that we have observed so far, can we use this property to come up with a formula more quickly? First of all, do you think that the properties of successive differences that we have seen, do you feel if it will be of any help in finding the formula? Just your gut feeling, like what do you think? Do you think there is some relation, or they seem to be totally unrelated things?
No, sure. This successive difference, I think we need that to figure out the formula. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Successive difference is necessary because it helps you to find the coefficients that is there in the final expression for a given sequence. So it is definitely needed. Without that, I think, first of all, we can't form a linear equation, right? Without successive difference, we can't form linear equation.
Right, but some of us solve it purely by system of linear equations without doing successive difference, right? So we'll just take, okay, let us assume it to be a 4th degree polynomial, a 5th degree, and then I think some of us were able to get it right.
No, that is actually guess only.
So we'll
but it's not necessary that you need to work all the time, right?
Very nice. So we will come to that also. We will come to that. So given a finite sequence, what all different polynomials can be assigned to it? We'll come to that.
Exactly. And one more question also, which we discussed I think it was asked last week, I think. Can a given sequence have more than 2 different formula?
Exactly. So can a given sequence have more than one formula, right? And interestingly, if the given sequence was just 4, 14, 40, 88, we saw that there are.
We saw that Sunil came up with one expression, and then I extended up to 6 terms, 6 and 7 terms. I got another expression actually.
Yes, and
last 4 weeks.
Gauri ma'am also got another 4th degree polynomial. So we will see. Yes. We will come to that. We will see what all possible polynomials exist. And one more question, Shankar, which you asked was, what should be the length polynomial, right?
Up to what extent we need to go so that we can come up with only one formula. I mean the unique formula. Actually, till this date, I was at the impression that any given sequence should actually have only one expression, right? General expression. So you're trying to actually convert that numbers into some algebraic language, which is actually the polynomial one, right? So any given sequence should definitely, should have only one general term. See, that is the impression that we have been there till date. So now seeing these kind of results is actually shocking me, and I'm quite actually skeptical about whether what and all we had learned before, whether it is actually makes sense or not. These kind of questions is actually cropping up in my mind.
This is a great state to be in, Shankar. So now when we have this conflict and paradoxes, right? Now it's a great opportunity to go forward.
So now what I'm seeing that even if I see a simple sequence like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, so I'm not convinced that this has to be 2n. The general expression has to be 2n. There should be some other general expression also which gives 2, 4, 6, 8 like that. So that is the thing. So up to what extent that actually gave me another question which I actually asked the other day. Like up to what extent we need to go so that there should be only
unique formula.
one
Excellent question. We will.
The unique formula. One more thing, that if it is giving different sequences, different formulas, then definitely that algebra doesn't exist all at the end.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
sir,
if
can you
you
say it
go
again?
on giving the different formula, each and every having different formulas, ultimately it having only one unique formula, right? Then if it,
Exactly. That is my point, Jagdish sir. The thing is
yes, sir, Shankar sir, you are right.
sequence,
But
any sequence if you take, it should have only one generic formula, right?
right. But we don't have mean. If we go on giving different frequencies, means where does it algebra end then? Where does it end? It doesn't end at all. Then it's having no meaning also. Then finally, algebra doesn't give a correct solution at all. I feel I don't.
No. Nice observation. Nice comment. So where like algebra exists. So one thing is, at this point, I would like to differentiate between two kinds of questions. Okay. So one question is this. One question is, there is a sequence infinite sequence where the common difference is 4. Okay, find a formula for the nth term. This is one question. Okay, question number 2 is, consider a sequence. Yes, not. Find a formula for the nth term. So now, is there any difference between these two questions?
Sequence one, we can definitely say what the algebraic expression is. In the second sequence, we don't know until we see the future terms. There could be many expressions which satisfy the first 4 terms, but after that it may differ.
Yes, correct.
So the tricky thing is that the sentence where common difference is equal to 4. That's what is making all the difference.
All the difference here.
The common difference is actually making the whole lot of difference.
It is specific. Basically, in the first question, the entire sequence is specified. The infinite sequence is completely specified. Okay, but since it is a simple AP, we are able to specify the entire sequence. But for this monstrous sequence which Jagdish sir gave, 4, 14, 40, 88, 156, right? It is not so easy to specify the complete sequence at once. It is not impossible. It is possible. In fact, one of the ways by through successive differences, right? So this is what is creating this multiple formula. But still, there's a question. The question which Shankar raised, right? It still remains. Now in category 2, how many terms should you specify? How many terms should you specify so that unique formula comes out?
There is no specific answer. I think it is entirely case by case dependent.
Oh, is it? Okay, we will come to that. We'll come to that. How many terms should be specified to get
Unique formula for nth term.
Yeah, nth term. Right. So now, first now we will see how we can utilize this structure of successive differences to come up with a full formula for S naught at one go. So here we saw that 4, 14, 48, 48, 8. First term is n cube. How do we find successive terms?
So
we had,
we start from n cube plus f1 of n.
wait, let's just write down the sequence again. 4, 4,
14, 40,
48.
88.
Yeah. So n cube plus f1 of n. This is n cube plus f1 of n.
Yes, ma'am.
And the next one is 3n squared plus f2 of n.
Yeah.
So that is 10, 26.
48.
And next we have 16. And this will be 22.
22. Yeah.
Next one
So
is
that is 6n plus 3.
6n plus 10.
3. No, ma'am. 3. Because you take the difference for 3n square, right? So n square it is 2n plus 1. N square it is 2n plus 1. So if you multiply by 3, it will be 6n plus 3.
6n plus 3, but
plus f3 of n. Plus f3 of n.
Plus d of f2 of n. Okay.
Plus f3 of n.
Plus, so let that 3 also go inside. We will only look at this. Plus f3 of. Actually, it won't be f3 of n anymore. Won't it be a constant? Because this is a3.
Yes.
So some constant. I'll put it as and I write it as k. I'll put it as k. Okay. So what I did was, so I applied the same thing here. So d of 3n squared plus f2 of n is equal to 6n plus k. So this gives us d of 3n squared is 6n plus
3. 3.
3.
Yeah.
Plus d of
f2n.
f2 of n.
Yeah.
Is equal to 6n plus k. So d of f2 of n is equal to k minus 3.
Yeah.
Now this is going to be order. It will be an plus b. Will be of that form, no?
Yes.
So in the difference, the b part will not have a role because b minus b will get cancelled out, right?
Yes.
So I was thinking that this should end up being this a. Should be this. And if you check back in what we have worked, no, we actually got here 7n, I think.
Yeah, 7n, yes.
So here the k is 10. So 10 minus 3 is 7. So it's working out also.
Okay.
So if we try to generalize this and have it as an cube, this is the first S0, an cube plus bn squared plus cn plus d. And then we have the first order difference, which should be, okay, let's see, a1, b1, c1, d1. And the next one would be a2n squared plus b2n plus c2. And then the next difference would be a3n plus b3, let's say. Yeah, this will be the AP. What went wrong? AP should have come in D3, right?
Yeah.
I found out the polynomial.
Ah,
Okay, you were also figuring out. Were you able
ah,
to
we would.
are you people still trying?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay. So shall I give you one clue?
Yes, sir, please.
Ma'am, can you show that initial sequence 414?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we know that it is n cube plus f1 of n, right?
Hmm.
And we want to find f1 of n.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so can we subtract n cube from that sequence and get a new sequence?
Oh, okay. So we'll have 3, 6, 13. What is it? Fourth one. 24,
4.
24, yeah. Okay, and then you solve for this.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it is like a recursive process.
okay. Oh, nice. Yeah.
How did you get that, ma'am? 3, 6, 13, 24?
So this is n cube plus f1 of n. This is only f1 of n. This is only f1 of n.
Oh, okay.
So basically, by removing n cube from each of these.
Subtracted n cube, like 4 minus 1 cube and 14 minus 2 cube, 40 minus 3 cubes.
Okay, okay, okay.
Nice. Nice approach, Raman.
Yeah. So I was thinking from this, I just started with this odd numbers, right? 3, 5, 7. So
Huh.
for that, the common difference will be 2, but we only know the common difference, but we don't know where the sequence starts from.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the same analogy, like we are simplifying at each stage.
Nice. So this will give us 2n square. Then you subtract 2n square and do the rest.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that will give 2n square because the constant, the common difference, as you said, is 4, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It comes to 4.
So at each
So we
stage,
could do-
we get a new sequence, and for which we repeat the process, and it keeps reducing.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. So then if we remove 2n squared, so now we can refine this as n cube plus
2n square plus
some,
some function.
2n squared plus f1 of n. Okay, so let me rewrite the value. Okay, minus 2, so this will be 1. Minus
8. So we get
minus 8,
negative
this will be minus 2.
18. So 13 minus 18 minus 5.
This will be minus 18, so minus 5. And this will be
Minus 8.
32. So this will be minus 8. Yeah. So minus 3. Wow, that will give us minus 3n.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, minus 3. Yeah, wonderful. So it's minus 3n.
Minus 3n.
Yeah. Wonderful, sir. Great.
Awesome. Yeah. And the constant, I guess we'll just have to figure out, right?
Yeah.
So 1 plus 2 3 minus 3, okay, plus 4.
That's it.
Yeah, this was very neat. I was all over the place, so much algebra.
Yeah. Initially, it looks
Yeah.
like what there is no way to find out.